What I plan on doing after graduating would honestly be to become a composer for maybe movies or video games because I feel that music is quite a versatile medium in expressing stories and emotions, and having to see them through movies and video games would be honestly quite perfect. You can't really have a good film or a good game without good music, because without it kind of falls flat, because music really just invokes certain emotions within us, and it's mainly because we ourselves, the composers, pour in our own emotions, and it helps people to recognize that, and upon listening to those said pieces we can understand their own emotions. We're listening to a story that they've created through music, and the audience hears it for the same. So I honestly see it like that. Now, for a recording that's interested in me. About a year ago, I went to watch the Hoenn competition in Calgary. It was honestly a very interesting experience because a lot of the competitors were about my age, about 5 years older, give or take. But it was really interesting to see the kinds of technique or technicality that they really put into their pieces, and it kind of just shows you what you're capable of doing at such a young age. But it's not also that, it also kind of ties into what I was saying about emotions and music, because those competitions are their own stories, and the pieces they play are a reflection of who they are and the things they want to do in life. It's seen through how they play some pieces. One of the competitors I remember played, I forget the name, but it was a very tranquil piece, and you could hear it just through the way that she even touched the keys. It was almost like listening to a ballerina dancer dancing on ice or crystal glass. It was really an interesting experience, and it kind of opened my doors to see what music is capable of in the right hands, in a way. Briefly assess your strengths and weaknesses as a musician. Well, for one of my strongest assets, I feel as though I'm very curious on things, whether it be music or theory. I'm very curious about a lot of different things. Like, I can be curious about classical music for a week and then maybe a fusion of jazz or oriental the next week, because there's many different horizons for music, and I honestly see myself as barely even scratching the surface of what music is really capable of, and I want to be able to explore more of that. If I do get into the course, I want to be able to understand music more, and really, if I do understand music a lot more, I'd be able to put in more of my emotions and in a more effective way as well, to be honest. And for my weaknesses, I feel like it's also tied in with my strong point, because the fact that I'm so curious, it kind of is hard for me to stay on one idea and really focus on it consistently, because I'm always wanting to branch out, discover new things, explore new ideas. That is quite hard for me to just stick passionately to one thing. Unless there's like other elements to it, then I would really like to focus on it. I find it quite hard to keep myself focused. So that's definitely something I'm going to work on. Anything else? Um, okay, one of my favorite things, as it says right here. So, as I said, for composition or for music in general, I really feel it's a way for people to express themselves, as I said before, because music is made by people, all with different stories, all with different emotions, and I feel as more and more people listen to you know, more and more people listen to music, whether it be like modern or classical, it really depends. There are different emotions every here and there that can be discovered. Let's say for classical music, the emotions are packed into such a neatly and delicate package that it takes years and probably even decades to really unfold what the composers are trying to say. That is something that I find really interesting, because it's almost like unraveling a puzzle in a way, for unraveling someone's emotions or their own story. You can almost hear their own stories through the music that they play. Like, one of the most popular examples would be Beethoven's whole history. You can hear how he transitions through his life through the three phases of his life, his early, middle, and late stages, you can really hear the transitions through it, because as it goes on, you can hear how much more he develops himself. I guess that's the right word. Or through, kind of hard to explain, his technicalities, and as some people say, my teacher included, his middle to late phase would almost be kind of stormier and more brash, I guess I can say, compared to his earlier ages or early stages, because that's really the time when we take to really understand everything and develop ourselves until it finalizes into what was seen as the late and middle stages. So I find composing really interesting, as it's kind of like a way for us to show what our stories sound or is like through music. And I think that's a really big part of why I want to learn music, is because I want to show people my story and I want to be able to develop myself in doing so. Yeah. And that's it for my recorded interview.